Hello. I don't want to be on camera, so I'll show you a cat while I'm talking. Did you know he's 17 years old? Happy birthday to him. Well, his birthday was like a month ago, but he's so old. It's not on days like this where I'm like physically sick, sleep deprived, blah blah blah. There's some stuff that you always have to do in a day no matter what. Pay bills or, you know, things like that. But otherwise, anything that is unnecessary, I throw away. And I just do crafts or something. And because of the particular craft that I have to do today, I thought it would be interesting to make a video of it. I had some money that I got in cards for my birthday like months ago or whatever, and I just recently decided to actually get something with it. I have two like kind of, I guess, political commentary sort of books or something. I don't know what the genre would be. I haven't gotten that far into either of them. Me showing them in the video is not a recommendation. I don't know what's in them. I can't vouch for it yet. Give me a minute. And then I also got this Sculpey modeling clay. I have plenty of Sculpey clay to make my sculptures, but I don't have this colored clay. I wanted to get like the type of clay that kids get. You know, I make such complex sculptures usually. I wanted to do something kind of simple. And then this is really cool. Diorama or something with all these little pieces. I had a tag that said that it was $70 and it was on sale for $20. So I think that's pretty good. This is the thing that I was thinking about courting myself doing because I think they're cool and I've never done one before. And I don't think I've ever even seen someone do one before. I've seen them advertised. That'd be really cool to make. But I should note, I'm very tired. It's not going to be like a well-produced twinkly music, ooh, time lapse of me doing the whole thing. Like, this is sort of like a casual, chill, crafting vlog type of thing rather than an actual crafting video. I don't know how long they take, but hopefully not too long. We'll see. I'm gonna do everything on this table, which is cool. It was a dumpster find. There's no drawer. Here's all the stuff. There's yard work outside, of course. There's always yard work outside where I live. They will buzz cut that grass every week, even though it looks exactly the same. Anyway, I've taken this stuff out of, it was all in little plastic bags. It's very, very wasteful. I get the need to separate it, but maybe they could put it in like paper bags or something. I mean, all of these little things are plastic too, so no matter what, we're contributing to the plastics, we're contributing to the microplastics. But sometimes there's particularly egregious packaging, and these are like the other pieces that are in the bag. I guess this is like the wall. Beauty on you. Who is that? What does that mean? Stuff like this to me is fun to do, but once you've done it, I'm like, what do I do with it? Like, I don't necessarily want to keep it. I just like doing it. I need to make a friend who loves collecting dioramas but never has the energy to make them, and then I can just put them all together and make them, and then I have someone to send them off to. I'm the same way with my sculptures. I love the art of making them, and then once I've made them, I'm like, alright, what now? Why it's so hard for me to understand the rationale behind people using like ChatGPT and stuff to do creative things for them. Because to me, it's all about the process and nothing about the end result. I have thrown away sculptures I've made before because I was just like, well, what I really want to do is make them. That's what I care about. It's like this total opposite thing where it's like, I don't care about the process. I don't want to have to think or put any effort whatsoever. I just want the end result. I don't know. That's very, so opposite to me. So weird. So strange. I guess I need to assemble the outer core first. This little piece. Ice pick. So I am moving. During the course of this filming, I think I'm just going to be centered on one table. But if there happens to be any sort of background that's actually shown and everything looks like it's in disarray, this can be my, like my ventriloquism because I'm not on camera. A lot of my stuff is in boxes right now and I kind of took everything off the walls. I do have this wall. This is my only thing left. Everything else on the wall is barren. I kept up my main things, which is like this, what they're called, like maneki neko or something. That's the most American way to— Maneki neko, Ohio gozaimasu. But yeah, the little lucky cat thing. And this is apparently called a door harp. Put it on the back of the door, and these little things hit the strings when you close the door. I've never hung it on a door because I think that would annoy me. every single time I open the door. I'm really out of tune when I got it, and I don't know what the actual chord is supposed to be. I suppose you can make it whatever chord you want it to be, so I've done this one. I have cinnamon roll. This is like a little keychain. And this thing, which is a candle holder, but currently I'm just using it to hold my masks. Anyway, I guess my point, I'm getting sidetracked. I am tired. I am tired. I'm going on 3 hours of sleep, okay? I'm going on 3 hours of sleep. Point is I'm moving. If you see a glimpse of my room in the background and you're like, whoa, there's stuff everywhere, that's why. Main thing done. Though I do kind of wish, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Look, there's a window here, then on the inside there's not a window there, and there's a window here, and yes, there's a window on the other side, but then there's also a door, and there's no door, which I know it's like a thing for kids to make. But I think you make the box, then you start assembling all the tiny little things, so now I might just be kind of putting small pieces together with other small pieces for like an hour or something. Tally didn't sleep well, and then I'm slightly on edge because my heart rate is like more fluctuating than usual. Usually at resting it's like 64, and it does get down to, but very easily goes up to like 90 something if I move around or shift in the chair or anything. But that's okay. It'll just be a chill little assembling of things. I made it say Meow Cafe. It's a little cat. It kind of matches this wall and this green. I don't know where I got the. I thought this was gonna be more pink. It's really not a pastel pink. It's kind of, it shows up like a red. So I've got my this is my giant pitcher. I'm trying to avoid plastics, even though I know this is a plastic straw. I want to get a replacement straw. So instead of a giant plastic water bottle, I just got a big pitcher that people like use for lemonade or something, and I fill it up at the beginning of the day and say that it has to be all gone by the end of the day. And that works pretty well. These are, I think they're things that are supposed to go on the end of straws, but I don't use them that way. I just use them as decoration. You can't really decorate this. It's just glass. I could put a sticker on it and then the sticker would wipe off as soon as I wash it. So until I'm at the very beginning of the day, because I haven't I haven't drank much. Watching The Sopranos in the background while I craft. Since I currently have my yearly, maybe I'll put like a time lapse of me working on stuff while I'm talking, so that this isn't just like me sitting. The way that I handle the fact that all of the streaming services have like, you know, it used to be mostly they're all free. A lot of stuff would be like shared between them, but now it's just like, if you want to watch this, you have to go to Tubi, and if you want to watch this, you have to go to Paramount, and there's HBO, and there's this, and there's Disney, and there's this, and there's that, and there's this, and it's just like, there's no way in the world I'm paying for that many subscriptions, ever. I have maybe one at one time. But so how I cope with that is, once a year, I will pay for 1 month of each of them. This folder called To Watch, Read, or Play, and I have like screenshots of all the different things. So I have like Amazon Prime, Peacock, Showtime. Now I don't get all of those. I've never had a Star subscription or Amazon. I still have them saved in a folder because if I ever happen, you know, sometimes you get one like as part of a promotional deal with the internet service that I have. I got like a free month of one of those things once. So I just, anytime that I see a show that I'm interested in watching, I look it up, I look up where to watch it, and if it's not a thing that I currently have, then I just save it in a folder. Once I've got enough, then I will get 1 month of, like, once a year. Once I've saved up about 10 things I'm interested in, 11 things, I think, okay, I'll watch those all over the course of a month. And then I will cancel my subscription. A lot of the times people pay for these things, they don't use them. Like, they'll pay for Netflix, but they're not actually watching stuff on Netflix every month because it's currently, like, in between stuff coming out. You don't actually have something that you're actively watching on every single platform at all times. Discovery Plus, which is only $9, I think. It's like one of the cheapest ones. I keep that one all year round because I watch cooking competition shows and like Food Network stuff pretty much all the time. But all the other ones, just cycle through them on and off. So at the moment, I have my 1 month of HBO Max going. I thought that I had enough shows that I would look at, but there were like 2 shows that I thought were on there that actually weren't. Other things, I thought they were like 40-minute episodes, but they're actually 20-minute episodes, so having it on in the background for crafting stuff like I do, it actually went by pretty short, so then I started to just look for things, and that was how I ended up on The Sopranos. It was not on my like, ooh, I gotta watch this list, but it was more, I had already kind of exhausted all the things that I was going to watch, and so then I was like, I don't know, why not? I think there are shows like that where it's like, I don't actually care about the characters or what's going on or what happens to them, but it can still kind of be interesting. I mean, kind of like Breaking Bad. Like, I don't really like any characters in Breaking Bad. I don't really care. I'm not really interested in the plot, but you can tell that it's decently written, that it's well made, and there's like this big cast of characters who have their own things going on, even if you don't care about any of the characters. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if it like, I can have it on the background when I'm sculpting, and there's enough variety. All these different people are doing different little things. It's like little dolls in a dollhouse. Not like a romance show where the main plot is the 2 people getting together and that's what most of the focus is on. You know? Of course, like most things, the episodes I was most interested in have been the ones that are basically B-plot where nothing happens. Like Pine Barrens, I think, and there was this one where the main guy gets like sick. The whole episode is just him having diarrhea and having fever dreams. I love that. So much that, like, the B-plot, pointless, nothing episodes are my favorite episode. If there's any series that I've seen and it's got some sort of episode where nothing really happens, that's probably my favorite episode. I just love, I don't know why, I just really like that type of thing. Like, that's why, part of why I hate action movies. I don't want plot to be happening, really. I like all the excitement and the changing every 5 minutes. And like, by spending time with a character kind of during downtime, you get to see more about them, character-focused approach rather than a plot-focused approach, I think. Like, I would literally watch a movie that's just 2 people trapped in a closet for 5 hours, and that's it. But they're having interesting conversations and they're interesting people. I just have a very character-first, like, world-building style. Like, I would rather have a character that is intriguing enough, maybe not intriguing, but like an entertaining to observe. If they're not deep or interesting, they're at least entertaining to watch. An entertaining to observe, kind of interesting person enough that you could watch them doing anything and it would still be somewhat amusing, or you would get something out of it. Kind of like, I would rather have interesting characters in a boring plot than boring characters in an interesting plot. I feel like some world building of some TV shows seems more action first, where it's like they're relying on the fact that what's going on is such a crazy situation that they don't actually have to develop the characters very much. The things that are happening are so exciting and ooh, someone's exploding, we have to save the king or do this or blah blah blah, but then the actual characters themselves that are in these interesting, quote-unquote interesting situations are not that thought out, or they don't feel really like fleshed out real people with their own actions, or certain things that they do are sort of flat or tropey. Me, I just prefer more of like a slow, character-driven type of, I don't know. Of course, I like those episodes where nothing really happens and you're just kind of observing, like more slice of life type of sitting in silence with the person as they are type of stuff. Not that The Sopranos is really like that, but I don't think it's, is it? I don't know. I'm more just speaking in general now. Like, oh, for example, one of the things that wasn't on my list, but because I ran out of all the stuff on my list, and now I'm just looking around to watch every single thing that I'm even remotely interested on HBO so I can get the most out of my $20. There was a movie, I forget what it's called, Heretic or something? And it was like apparently classified as a horror movie. It didn't seem very horror-y to me, so I was okay with watching it. Usually I don't like horror movies. I looked at the reviews after I watched it, and people were like, oh my gosh, it was so boring at the beginning. It only got interesting. They only actually did anything at the very end, which was funny to me because my experience was like, ooh, I loved the beginning. One guy giving a lecture to these 2 missionaries, and that's it. And nothing else is going on. I love the talking in one room part for 25 minutes. But man, when they started to do stuff, yeah, it really fell off there, and everybody else is like the opposite. Like, oh, what a slog, the first 30 minutes are just talking. which I like, of course. That's why I did briefly consider watching, whatever that show, the thing that was like in the Game of Thrones universe, House of the Dragon or something. I wasn't really keeping up with that, but whenever season 2 did come out, however many... Again, I don't watch stuff as it comes out. I just save it in a folder. I live under a rock. I don't keep up with anything. Whenever it came out, maybe a few months ago or something, or maybe longer, I remember people hearing the notion around that season 2 is like boring and nothing happens and blah blah blah. It's funny that for most people that's like off-putting, but for me I was like, oh, maybe I should watch it. Everybody hates it and thinks it's just people walking around talking to each other. Maybe it would be something I would like. Or character study, nothing else going on. My thing is up in a few days, and The Sopranos has a lot of seasons, I think, so... But I'm milking everything out of it that I can. Maybe that's weird, but that's what I do. Watch everything I can and then cancel my subscription. I'm not like a big watcher of things actually, or like a super media fan, or one of those people that's like really into movies and watching movies all the time and I gotta see the new thing that came out, blah blah blah. But I do kind of coincidentally end up seeing some amount of things because I do a lot of crafting and sculpting and stuff, and it's like, I need background noise. I mean, a lot of the times I watch YouTube videos as background noise instead, but yeah, that's what I'm doing today. Just drinking my giant pitcher of water and trying to watch every single possible thing that I can on an HBO at the most out of my $20. Weird, and it's kind of dirty looking because I was going through cherries yesterday. Cherries you get this like purpley brown sort of stuff when they like stain your fingernails. It's like an anxious tick or something. Like there's nothing I can do. I've tried everything. If my fingernails are long enough, I will pick at my skin and pick at my scalp and blah blah blah. So I cut all of them extremely short, except for my one tactical fingernail I use for peeling stickers, opening packages, cutting plastic, piercing holes in things, like sharp and very hard. Cut myself actually with my fingernail before. I have like a scar like somewhere down here where I accidentally cut. I can't cut my fingernails all the way. I need at least one. I know it looks weird. It probably looks crazy. Everybody's probably like, oh my god, well, you have one weird dirty fingernail. It's not usually dirty. I was going through cherries. And I'm gonna loosely follow the guidelines of what it shows on the little picture, but I also kind of don't care, so... Also, I'm not sticking anything down. I have all those little tape things I could stick it down, but I kind of want to keep it good, so I can sort of move it around however I want. For calico critters, doll things that look like cats. It'd be an awesome place for them to like go hang out. Really tuck the chairs in, considering that the tablecloth is hard. I didn't put the macaroons down either, because look at this. They're just pink. I'll glue them together once I paint them, but I wanted to actually go in and add the details that there's like cream in the middle or whatever. Children's toy, but I'm thinking about it too practically. Why doesn't the door work? Why isn't there multiple forks? It took me a moment of arranging, during which I had to turn my camera off because my camera is like, after it records for like 5 minutes, it says internal temperature too high, and here's how I've decided for it to be. Took this away because there's really only one thing that I can see that you would use the tongs for, which is the macaron things. So I made a tiny napkin for them to sit on, and I put them just kind of right under where the macarons are, and I left this whole space open because what's the point in having drink pouring things if there's no space for people to actually put their cups? So I guess I'll point with the tweezers. People can now put their cups down right here and then fill their drink. All the other stuff I think I made pretty the same. This is just a drinks thing. There's no cakes on it. It's just for drinks. So here's my version of it and how I've decided to do it. This is the version that is supposed to exist. Got the chairs pretty far apart. Most of the stuff is the same. Flowers are mostly the same. I just feel like all the stuff on that back counter is pretty crowded. Sense of like, how would anybody even use it? Like the drink things are covered up. You can't get to it. So I've modified it slightly, but there's my tiny little, oh my gosh, this fell. Oh, the cake's falling everywhere. So that is the final product of what I've been doing all morning, relaxing. Cool. I'm probably gonna go to sleep now. I like these little bottles. They're so cool. See, that's why I didn't want to pin everything down. I didn't want to glue it down because I want to be able to move stuff around. I like these little pieces. I still think it'd be awesome to get some calico critters in here. If I could ever get one. They're so expensive. They're like the most expensive toys. Hello. I've slept for a little while. When I'm sick, because I have this setup where I'm not sleeping in my bed. But I mean, this is like the actual bed. And then this is this sprawl of pillows kind of coming off from the side of the actual bed. And I feel sick. I want to be laying on the floor. He's too asleep. What if he was dead? Oh my god, what if he was? No. Okay. Sorry, you are 17. So sometimes I have to check. Burnout or something, I don't know. I think because of the way that my brain works, I need breaks in between stress. So I did something stressful, then waited 5 days, and then did something else stressful, and then waited 5 days, that's okay. But if I have a bunch of stressors all in line, it's like my nervous system gradually degrades, and it takes longer for it to recover. They show the view out my window, because I don't want people to know where I live, but I think this is just the sky. It's May, it's late May, which usually starts getting hot around here because climate change. So heat sensitive, it's terrible for me, but I'm very thankful that it's been at least a relatively, I'm trying to focus on this cat, it's been a relatively coolish May so far. We've had some hot days, but it's not terrible, so good that it's still gray and rainy at all. I've already packed up everything in my room, all my decorations, except for I kept these out. Some of my stuffed animals I've kept out. Aisha's, my white Aisha. The Aisha that I made that sucks. But it's the first stuffed animal I ever made, really, so it's nice. And it's got a posable ear antenna. This, one of my friends got for me, which is really cool, because it's one of the hardest Sanrio characters to find any merchandise of, because it's not very popular. But white and blue, hello. Sleepy, hello. Sometimes if I meow at him, he'll meow back. That's true. He's got a lot of nerve saying something like that, huh? So there's like pillows and blankets, and then right beside that, more pillows and blankets. This blanket that I keep down so I can lay on the ground and look out the window. I'm not joking, that video where I built that I don't know why I'm talking like, hey, that video, hey! That video where I remodeled that house in The Sims and made it into my ideal house, and there was a bunch of blankets and stuff all over the floor so I could sit on the floor. I have a designated floor sitting space. I really wish that I had, you know how they have desks that raise and lower? I wish there was one where the lowest it went was not desk height, but floor height. So you could have it on this platform that can be on the floor all the way to standing. Because I would totally use my computer on the floor, just kind of kneeled over on the floor sometimes. This is where I keep my actual sculptures. I keep them in a tub. They don't get dust on them. Because there's so many little crevices. It can be hard to clean. The real stuff that I use white Sculpey clay and then paint. I'm about to be doing, which I don't think I've ever really done before outside of maybe when I was a young child, is just sculpt with actually already pre-colored clay. Oh, that might be difficult for me. I'm so used to not having to think about color, you know, because what I make is just a plain white something. It is all totally packed up too, except for I still have these out. All my tassels that I've gotten from the bins for like 5 cents a piece over the years. Look at this old piano. I'm just like, it's not even related to doing crafts anymore. I'm just like, hey, look at this thing in my closet. It's a byproduct of the sleep deprivation. Listen to this, the demo song. Comes in these little packs like this. I'm gonna line them up in a cardboard box, and then it will be like a pretty rainbow. Be organized, because I like that organization better than this. I mean, what is this? How is this organized? Oh, look at that. Aww. They give you 3 neon oranges, 2 sticks of yellow. That's it. 1 stick of this muted purple, 1 stick of this muted pink. But then we have 2 neon pinks, 3 neon oranges, 2 neon greens. Weird color choice. I'm working on an orange. You know how they do those things, those candy makers? They have the thing where they set all the lines together and they roll them out and they make tiny little cuts of it. So I'm just gonna imagine in my mind palace. I have aphantasia, by the way, so I can't picture stuff in my head. Imagine in whatever way I can my fuzzy grayness. Try and think of how I would line things up to make a little lemon slice, or I guess it's an orange slice. I have these rainbows that I made that you saw me make because I have footage of it. And a little bowl of soup. It's just for fun. It's not meant to be precise. This. You can see that there's the white in between and the little pieces. However, the problem with it is I can't get a clean cut on it. If I had a razor blade maybe, but I don't have any razor blades. Cut with this knife. See how it mushes it down? You can tell that the lemon pattern is there, but it's flat and squished and, you know. Just smushed it all flat and made it into kind of like a marbled yellow and white and orange thing with a heart in the middle. Hi, I'm recording narration, but oh my god, I just made the oiliest lunch ever. I meant to put 1 teaspoon of olive oil, and when I went to pour the olive oil, probably half a cup of olive oil went into it all over the vegetables. So I'm basically eating a puddle of oil with some vegetables in it for lunch, so that's very scrumptious, very yummy. I'm so excited to have my oil spill. And you may find yourself asking, why are there no birds in my big beautiful tree? With the clear reason being that there are far bigger and beautifuler trees within the same property, so why would the birds stay at yours? And then you may wonder, well, how can I encourage birds to roost on the limbs I wish instead? And oh, brother, you are in for a delight, because my dear fellow, I have concocted the most elegant solution to your problem. I don't know where that was going. I think it's inspired by the fact that there's like a tree outside my window, but there's no birds in it. And I was like, man, in the apartment I used to live in, there's birds outside in the trees all the time, and I don't see any birds. So I was like gonna do like a fake advertisement or an advertisement. I don't know, bigbeautifultree.com. Come visit us or something. I lost it halfway through. I don't know. I might keep it in. Something surreal to go over the crafting. People will be watching me sculpt. I'm like, what the hell is how this horrible English accent man talking about trees? What are you talking about? What are you doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh ho ho! I have an update. Guess what? Actually, oil floats to the top of things, so I was able to delicately scoop off most of the oil spill from the top of the vegetables with a spoon. So that's great, amazing news, good update. I don't have to eat half a cup of oil. I'm sure you guys were really just needing that update, like, oh my god, what happened with the lunch? Oh my god, I was so curious, I need to know. Well, now you know.
Hello, paper boy. Do you like your paper?
Because my apartment now has these floors. They're not wood floors, they're like the cheapest plastic laminate or whatever you call it. Hard floors instead of carpet, which means everything echoes more. Like, listen, I'm talking, I'm saying things, blah 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 blah. Now I'm in this room that has carpet. Even though it sounds totally different. Like I have my own little echoey place. I don't know. New audio environment I haven't experienced before. I sound like echoey and mystical, and then you step into the carpet room and it sounds very dull. Hello, I'm recording narration again. This is me making I guess like a spinning wheel that has exercises, so because like I sit at my desk too much, so it's like after every hour of sitting, spin this wheel, and then whatever it lands on, that's the exercise you should do, or the stretch, like do 10 jumping jacks, or blah blah blah. I made it out of a Annie's mac and cheese box, as you saw. I was trying to like hold the camera with one hand and do the stuff with the other hand in these clips that I recorded, so they're like kind of silly looking, but you get the general process of the craft. I was just trying to show how the craft was done. Ooh, now I have a colored wheel. Ooh, now I have text on the colored wheel. Ooh, and then I think there's this like thumbtack pushpin thing that's, yeah, it's the shape of a bee. Look, it looks like a bee. Isn't that cool? So then I poked both of the things together, and well, bam, now it spins. Okay, that's a craft I did. Yee! I feel sick today because I did a lot of stuff yesterday. I don't actually want to show all of them. These are the achievements. Some of the achievements for my game. I have this thing, which is like a portable desk. Ow! Can like shift this thing in the back, see? In order to turn it into kind of like a raised desk area. Sketching out what the achievement images will look like, and then I'll draw them on my stupid little iPad.
Here we see the wild kitten on a perch. At the very top of the empty closet rests a grey little kitten. I believe he wants to go into the sun, sir. I believe he's gonna jump. I don't think so. I don't think he can, sir. He wants to jump from there to there. Well, it's not gonna happen. I've gone through 4 accents in 1 minute. Bam. Dun, dun, dun. It's a llama. Hey! Come over here. You can't jump over there. That's all he's gonna think about now. Why don't you come hang out with your little friend? Promise I won't put a curse on you at all.
What about for a treat? Will you come over here for a treat? The whole time I've had this closet, that's all he's wanted to do is get up on these shelves. And I can't ever let him in here because there's always stuff. But since I'm moving, now there's no stuff. So he's like living his best life, getting to go up high on a perch. If I had a house, I would build him those shelves that cats can walk across because he would love that. He loves to be up high. Come on.
Over here, there's a treat.
Downside of having really long hair is, look at how matted this is right now. With hair that is this long, like it's on my fingertips, I can like grab it kind of like to my thumb, so mid-thigh. While I was moving, I kind of just had it tied together like in braids, and it was getting caught on stuff. Now that I'm done moving boxes, now that I'm done moving, Moving is so stressful. Now that I'm done moving boxes, the next task is just recuperating. Go through my hair. The part that I went through just now took about 50 minutes. So you just kind of have to do this through every single part. Just very careful. I mean, obviously you do it with two hands. When it gets matted like that, you have to take out one piece at a time, very slowly. I have not only very long hair, but also really thick hair. I have like just a lot of hair. I mean, if you brush it frequently, it doesn't get like that. But on weeks that I'm really busy, or like this when I've been moving and I've had my hair in the same braids for... That's what I'm currently reckoning with this morning. Look at it all on one big ponytail. It kind of looks the same as earlier, but it's definitely less knotted. I made Carfy and some dill pickle chips. I don't have anything else savory. Oh, look at this. A cloud with a little star hanging from it and a raindrop, and it's white and blue, so it's all my favorite colors. And there's an antique store that's pretty far away from me, but I've been there like once or twice. I was moving, of course. I brought some stuff there, some old books. They said they're not really buying stuff right now, so like they won't buy it from me, but I could donate it if I wanted to or something, and I was like, I just want to get rid of it. I had already looked online. Most of the books were not valuable. This one I was going to take, but then I looked at it, or I looked it up online. Got it from the bins, of course, like every other thing that I own. But this, in some places I mean, so when you look up a book online, there's always these random places that list them for insane prices and they don't get bought. You know, like I could theoretically take a chewed piece of gum and put it on eBay for $7,000, but that doesn't mean anybody's gonna actually buy it for that price. But there looked to be multiple listings, one of which sold, of this book for like at least $100. Some of them are like $125 and $150, so I was like, well, I guess I'll keep that one instead of donating it. But the other ones I just gave to the antique store. They had this little section of all these keychains, which obviously are not antiques. I think they're just, you know, like most places, they've had to adapt to modern society. People are not buying antiques as much, so they have like a little section of like trinkets and to help bring in the kids. They have really good prices. This would have only been $2 if I had actually paid for it, but because I gave a donation, after I was done donating all the stuff, then I came up and I was like, oh yeah, and I want to buy this. And the person at the counter was like, oh, you can just have it. You don't have to, you donate a bunch of stuff, so just take it. Wow, I kind of got a free thing. I didn't really get a free thing. I bartered, kind of. Got my two Aishas that I sculpted. Oh my god. Two kind of Aisha. The yellow. From Neopets. I have a little cup of tea, which was a pink Barbie cup, which I painted white. And I have a pigeon that I made. And I don't know what this is. Some sort of black bird. Blackish purple bird with yellow eyes. I don't know what bird that would be. All I have so far. I don't have very much put up in my room. I'm kind of unpacking bit by bit. Oh, this is... It's like a... It had a face on it. It's supposed to be some sort of beast. Some variety of creature. It's very kind of ugly and yellow, and it's sort of matte on the surface, but when you squeeze it, you get to see this, which is what's cool. See that? I love things that look like orbs, especially if they have stuff inside of them. This is like my favorite thing. That's why I used to, when I was younger, I would collect marbles and any other see-through orb. I don't really like squish toys. I know that some people, that helps them when they're stressed to squeeze something. Not the case for me. But what I enjoy about it is specifically squeezing it to where it becomes an orb. Like I'm holding a pocket, like a bubble that's a portal to another dimension, and I'm looking at all these sparkles in here. Kind of weird to look at it. I'm not gonna show my actual bag that I use. Remember I did that what's in my bag video a long time ago where I showed what was in my bag? I put all my stuff in a different backpack for that. I mean, it is the stuff I carry, but it was in a different bag. I don't want to tell people what bag I carry all the time because then they can spot me out in public. I don't know, you know what I mean? That's one of the privacy focused things that I do Kind of similar to how I never want to show the outside of my window, show what my real backpack looks like. So if you see me wearing something in a video or in a picture, or you see my quote-unquote purse, like that's not my, the things inside of it are things I really do carry, but that purse is not my specific purse. Anyway, I just took these out of my bag secretly. These are objects that I carry around with me all the time. This is a circle I carry around with me. Another orb. This is another orb I carry around with me. It's just a clear marble. And then this is kind of see-through. And I like to mess with this. I like to just look at it, that's all. I just like to look at them. I mean, it's okay to squish it, but what I really like is the fact that it can turn into an orb. I really love the aesthetic of those slime videos that were really popular for a while, and soap cutting, and like those things are really awesome to me. However, people are so violent. Those videos, people will be like and they're like ripping it apart and they're like stabbing. It's like, oh my god, like leave it alone. It's like I feel bad for it. Leave the slime alone. What did it do? You're too aggressive. I feel like there's hostile energy. I just literally want to look at something shiny. Like, I don't even want to touch it that bad. I'm happy if all the slime videos were just them going, ooh, and then putting it down. Anyway, I don't know what did I start filming? Oh yeah, because the Aisha. Hi! It's a meme of a cat and a big hat. This is so cool. It's a mirror. It's got moon and stars and clouds in it. I forgot to record me making these, so I'm just going to narrate this, but this is a blueberry muffin that I made out of clay, and that's like a roll cake, or I don't know, like chocolate caramel with red on top, raspberries. There's no leaves. Okay. Looks like I have a fat lumpy ankle, but it's that my pants are tucked into my socks. Cat, flower, chickens. If I have a little bit of a lisp or I sound weird, it's because I just got dental work, so the whole side of my mouth is numb. This like vloggy enough. It's supposed to be all part of this crafting vlog. I started filming the crafting vlog I think like 2 weeks ago, so it's like inserting random clips now. Guess I was thinking maybe I need more audio to go over the video of me crafting. But I probably at some point will just have so many little small clips that it's like I'm just tacking stuff on, and the video will be like 20 minutes of crafting and the last 10 minutes will just be me being like, look at my socks, look at this plant. Guess who's helping me scrapbook? A lot of stress yesterday. I almost felt sick by the end of the day. Like I was like permanently hot and my heart rate was way too elevated. So even though I have a lot of stuff to do and I'm still working on my game and all this stuff, I really need to rest. This side is going to be the colors of the Cosmic Crisp apple, which is like pink and red and green mostly. And then this side is going to be blue plus rainbow. Thought it'd be interesting if I could do like a half page where half of the page is greenish mostly and half of the page is bluish. My page going over my new apartment, what's good about it and what's bad about it. I'm pretty sure there's about 19 cons and 4 pros, but you make the best decision you can with the information you have at the time. So, signed a lease for a year, no backing out now. It's kind of like pink, green, purple, but like kind of pastel, like pastel pinks, greens, and purples. I guess I just wanted to document slow morning of scrapbooking. This is my scrapbook from I think that was all the way last year, or maybe earlier this year. People who haven't seen, I have a post online of all the pages on my blog. They were more sketchy. I think I'm going into more this recent, my summer scrapbooking that I said that I wanted to do. I'm still going to have drawings on it, but maybe less drawing focused. It was a lot of drawing this time. It was like a sketchbook scrapbook with lots of pictures and stuff. I do still have pictures, but like notice that this one has basically no drawings on it. It's just putting things together. Half-finished page. The color theme is gold, different types of golds. For all my things, I have multicolor pictures. This is green, this is yellow and orange, different bags. for my summer scrapbooking project that I need to do when I need to calm down. Because my heart rate was like crazy yesterday. I hate that because I'm such a hyper productive person. Like, I want to be doing stuff all the time. I am constantly upset if I'm not doing stuff. Every single second of every single day, I'm thinking about being productive. I'm one of those people that, like, you tell me to relax, I will try to relax by doing something that is still productive. Oh, I'll play video games to relax, but I'll make a video of those video games, I'll record myself playing them, and then I'll upload it online, and then technically it's still doing something productive, or, you know what I mean? It's hard for me to just, like, not do anything. I really can't not do anything. That's why it's been hard being, like, diagnosed with more health issues and, like, having autoimmune issues and things like that, because it's like, oh, like, you do need to rest. I have, like, the mind of some crazy hyper-productive person who wakes up at 4 in the morning, goes to the gym for 2 hours, and then works 17 jobs and has published 30 books and has 4 college degrees and blah. Like, that's what my brain is, that's what my aspirations are, that's what my personality is, that's, like, what would satisfy me in life. That's what makes me happy, yet I'm trapped in the body of a sickly Victorian orphan. So there's this constant push and pull of, oh my god, I need to do more, I want to get this done. And it's not like a societal pressure. Like, it's not, oh, my parents always made me get straight A's, or, like, it's okay for me to, like, bum out. Like, most people in my family are not super overachievers. You know, I'm not, like, upper middle class, or, like, I don't have, like, my dad who owns 5 businesses or something. It's very chill. I have very low expectations of it. It's not like a buying into capitalism thing. It's not a societal pressure. It's not coming from anywhere except for genuine enjoyment. I genuinely just like working on things. It's very satisfying to finish a creative project. Like, people talk about writer's block and struggling knowing where to start. I'm like the opposite. I have so many ideas constantly. It's almost like, you know how some people say they have, like, hyperfixations or something, or, like, interest topic. Like, my stuff that I do is, like, my fixation. Like, if you just locked me in a room and gave me the resources and gave me the physical health functioning, hello, physical health functioning, then I would literally be pumping out 57 books a year, just do I never get bored. I never get tired of it, ever. I could do that every single day. And I never run out of ideas, and I never run out of stuff to do, and I never run out of enthusiasm, and I never run out of excitement. I never fall out of love with a project, or the only reason I don't finish things is because I don't feel well enough to, or I don't have the resources, or I don't have the time because there's too much other stuff happening. The main reason I don't like moving apartments, solely because it puts me behind on my things that are the only thing I care about. Like, man, all those hours I spent moving, I could have spent that making a sculpture. I know it doesn't seem like it because I hardly get anything done. Like, for somebody my age, I don't have a very large portfolio, but it's the health issues. But anyway, I'm trying to relax. It's hard for me to relax. I'm not a very relaxy person. Again, not in a negative way, not in like a, oh my gosh, I feel societal pressure, oh my god, my family wants me, I have to achieve or else everyone will be disappointed. Like, I don't care if it, go be disappointed in me. I don't care about stuff like that, sincerely. I know some people say they don't care, but they do. Like, that is not at the forefront of my mind ever. Literally nothing else matters to me in life as long as I can do my writing and stuff. I'm not fixated in like a negative way. It's just like that's just how my brain works. Maybe if I give myself more breaks, I'll also function more. That's the thing about health issues. Sometimes pushing yourself, you actually make them worse. So if you want to be productive, the strategy is actually to work in a lot of breaks, which sounds counterintuitive but isn't. These are the things you have to learn, I guess. It's like I'll do it, but I'm just pouting about it the whole time. Like, I wish I could be a robot and I could stay out 24 hours straight and I never get sick. I hate December. But that's the point. Scrapbooking is supposed to be a relaxed mood booster to cope with the heat. This is the opening screen so far. I see the clouds move and the flags kind of blow. There's just a little GIF sort of thing at the beginning to make it more interesting. And then these are all the different characters you can talk to. And this is, I have to load a game to be able to actually access it. Journal. And in your journal, you have like your inventory and stuff, and there's like a record of all the different townsfolk, and this is where your achievements will be. So I will put in the images that I'm working on right here, and they'll be saved as you do, as you get achievements in the game. I guess this is the save where I have all the items available, so hopefully that's not... I don't think that's a spoiler. You don't even know what the items are. You don't even know where to find them. You don't even know what you do with them, so like it's fine. And here's the main map, all the different locations you can go to and stuff. Yeah, that's where the achievements will go once they're all done. I still have like, at this point when I'm filming this, I have like 10 more to draw. Here's another scrapbooking project that I finished. I don't think I can get it all in the same shot. I kind of can. It's a, whatever it's called, like a vision board, or my understanding is it's some sort of like doing pictures and collaging of like your goals and the things that make you happy or something. I don't know what to do with it now. I guess you hang it on your wall, or or maybe it's just like a... I don't really believe in manifesting necessarily. I think there are a lot of people in life that are in hard, terrible situations that can wish things were better as much as they want, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna happen, you know. Ultimately, chaos of life is randomly assigned. It's not about whether you're a good person or whether you wish enough or just kind of things happen, but, you know, whatever. It's nice. It's nice to make pretty images. I mean, I'm not gonna go over all of it, but, like, because I like world building and writing, there's this thing that says create your own universe and better health with teeth next to it, which means better tooth health and dollar signs around here. Because, I mean, look, I'm extremely anti-capitalist. I'm also a realist. And I also grew up poor and I have health problems. And I think anybody would be lying if they didn't acknowledge that having money does help you deal with things. It may not buy you happiness and personal self-fulfillment, but it's better to have cancer in a nice house with air conditioning and you can pay for somebody to come and clean and cook for you when you feel too sick to do anything than to have cancer like homeless on a sidewalk. You know what I mean? Like, come on. So it's like, being realistic. Yes, I wish there was a different system. I wish we could do things a different way. But we're not currently living in that system, so the reality, the fact of the situation is, when I walk out the door tomorrow, it would benefit me to have more money, okay? While I'm not gonna shill out and, like, I don't know, start some AI crypto scam business or do anything horrifically unethical. Like, you know, if I'm trying to idealize my perfect future life or whatever, it definitely would be one where I have more money, because it's just more... it's just literally more advantageous. And I want air conditioning. And this is a picture of like a house. I guess somebody has a brunch spread out or something. It's kind of combining with like my goal of, I wish I could have my own house one day so I'm not packing my stuff up and moving every few years because of freaking... I don't like apartment life. I'm such a person that wants to put down roots. I don't like this moving all the time sort of thing. So I would just like to have a home that's more permanent. Little houses, living in a place with public transit. There's a person coming in from the snow, symbolizing that I want to live in a snowy, cold area. Long-term health. I want to eat steak and mashed potatoes, I guess. I want to get away from the United States to Canada or Europe or somewhere else, ideally. I like hotels. It'd be cool to stay in hotels. I like pasta and lasagna. It'd just be cool to eat pasta and lasagna. The Sims, because it's kind of like symbolizing broadly that I like to play games and stuff. I like fish and chips. My normal bubble tea order, a matcha milk tea with tapioca boba and half sweetness. I want to have it in my house, you know, I want to have cats and a squirrel and birds in my yard, and I would like to own chickens. That would be cool if I owned a chicken at some point. And the 4-leaf clovers for luck. world change. I want there to be a massive cultural shift from impulsivity to caution, from anti-intellectualism to pro-science, and from short-term gratification to rational, calm, long-term planning. Some people do that, but broadly, I live in a culture that does not value those things. Some of these things I had to draw myself, like this. I couldn't find a magazine with a picture of one of the lucky cats in it, and I couldn't find any magazine that had really any pictures of fashion stuff. I found a clip of Cinnamoroll in a top hat, and there was one single article. There was some guy in a frilly shirt and this sticker of boots and a witch hat and sunglasses. I was just trying to, because I really like fashion and costumes and stuff, but I had no good representation of that anywhere. So I want to make new friends. This is more about having like a house and stuff. The snowflake is because I want it to be cold. Peace, stability, prosperity, and security. I would like to have an indoor pool because swimming is one of my favorite things ever, but I don't ever have a place to swim or a way to swim. And then this is all like about the creative stuff that I do, like playing games, making games, writing, fantasy world building and stuff. I think this is like a castle in a Disney park, and I boycott Disney. I don't support Disney as like a company, but it's just a miscellaneous castle. For the purposes of this, it's just about a castle. Hello Kitty with a crayon, I guess. Breakfast. I just love breakfast is my favorite type of food. I love breakfast food. I want to have plants. I want to roller skate again. That's like my second favorite thing. I think my favorite things are swimming, roller skating, indoor rock climbing, and doing like badminton or tennis or something. Not that I get to do them that much because I feel sick all the time, or I don't have a place to do it. I mean, indoor rock climbing is inaccessible because you can't like do it in your own house. But clouds and snow, of course, because that's my aesthetic. So that's my like vision board, whatever type of thing, a basic summary of it. So I realized that I never showed this. Earlier in this same video where I said I wanted to do a half and half page, so here's what that looks like. Half of it is the pink, green, red, black sort of look, and the other half is the dark blue with, it's kind of like blue, yellow, red, but it also incorporates some rainbow stuff. Oh. Somebody's a stretchy boy. One good thing about this new apartment is that the sun is not on it. I don't know what it faces, but it's not west facing. The place I used to live was west facing, which means we get the hottest sun, the hottest part of the day, just blasting in every window from like 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Whereas right now it's like 3 p.m. and I can have my window open and I can have natural light, which is good for me because I am a light hater. I hate unnatural light. I hate having the lights on inside. If I could only live by natural light and candlelight all the time, I would. I think lamps are too abrasive, even though it is hot. 78.6 degrees inside my room. For you people in other places, that is 26 Celsius. I realized that in the video, because I'm like halfway through editing it and still just filming a few final things, which I think I'm gonna call the crafts I've done this month or something like that, because it's been kind of in between. It's mostly 1 month. It was sort of like late May, and right now it's early July, so it's kind of the month of June. Anyway, I filmed myself making the beginnings of one of these, but not finishing it. I take avocado pits and I make little eyes out of them. This is what it would look like. I didn't film myself finishing it because I didn't have time, because I was moving and doing other things. But yeah, basically I would take what I did in the video, and then I would sand it a little bit and make it smoother, and then I would paint it. And they all have holes in the top, because I guess I'm thinking one day maybe I could like string them together as some sort of weird necklace or like head ornament or something. This is what it would look like if it were done. I realize it seems kind of random to just have me show me working on this thing, but then you never see actually the final product. So this is what it would be like. My avocado pit eyes, as of yet undetermined use. I don't know what.